Hello, my name is Zia Min from TAMF. Today I will tell you about confirmation bias. I divided my presentation into 5 parts. First, I will tell you about confirmation bias. Next, I'll tell you about these examples. Then, um, I'll tell you the ways to overcome confirmation bias. After, I'll show you a video and for, lastly, we'll have a quiz. First, confirmation bias is a tendency to regard information that supports one's argument as important and ignore the opposite information. Confirmation bias is also called the fallacy of incomplete evidence or cherry picking in logic. It refers to selectively presenting only evidence or data to support one's claim. This is in line with calling consumers cherry pickers who are only self-serving in marketing. Both the person and the consumer of the argument are referring to eating only sweet cherries among sour grapes and cherries on plates, or picking expensive cherries on a cake with cherries on it. Second, I will tell you about an example about confirmation tendency. In 1979, three psychologists, Charles Lee Ross and Mark Lepper, conducted a psychological experiment. Two pieces of evidence were shown together to those who favor and oppose the death penalty. One was proof that the death penalty curbed crime, and the other was proof that it had little effects. However, the people who participated in the psychological experiment decided that the evidence that matched their thoughts was more coherent and persuasive. So their original thoughts became more affirmed rather than changed. Third, I'll tell you the ways to overcome confirmation bias. The first is to collect and keep engraving cases of great people who overcame the confirmation bias. For example, the best investor of the time, Warren Buffett, did not hesitate to listen to opinions contrary to his ideas to overcome the confirmation bias. And Charles Darwin established the theory by collecting various data to deny its evolutionary theory. The second is to have a friend who can evaluate your thoughts without hesitation. The first method mentioned is also likely to eventually be unable to be implemented according to instinct. What is needed at this time is to have others around, which cannot be controlled by my instinct. It would be easier to get out of the swamp of confirmation bias if you had someone around you who could honestly tell Warren Buffett about that your thoughts might be wrong as Munger did. Next, I'll show you a video.
Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency of people's minds to seek out information that supports the views they already hold. It also leads people to interpret evidence in ways that support their pre-existing beliefs, expectations, or hypotheses. People easily accept new information that is consistent with their beliefs, but are skeptical of information that contradicts their beliefs. In one study, teachers were told that certain students were especially promising, even though the students were really chosen at random. Based on this false belief, teachers gave more praise and attention to the chosen students, who improved more because of the teacher's expectations. In other words, the confirmation bias can create self-fulfilling prophecies. In fact, this bias often helps people prove themselves right. For example, when physicians have an idea about a patient's diagnosis, they may focus on evidence that supports their theory while they undervalue evidence that supports an equally plausible alternative diagnosis. Likewise, police officers who adhere to stereotypes linking young Black men to crime may gather and process clues in a one-sided way when investigating a crime with a Black suspect. As Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman warns, even scientists who commit to a theory tend to disregard inconsistent facts, concluding that the facts are wrong, not the theory. So, the confirmation bias can easily lead us to reach inaccurate and even unethical conclusions. It's essential to recognize our vulnerability to confirmation bias and actively guard against it by being open to evidence that is not consistent with our beliefs and theories.
Lastly, we will have a quiz. Confirmation bias is a tendency to regard information that supports one's argument and it's important to ignore it as something. It's
Opposite?
opposite information.
Alright.
Thank